Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Plague Inc. Evolved Custom Scenarios. I found a scenario that we want to try out. I actually just had it right there. There it is right now. Psychopathy. Or psychopathy? I've heard it go both ways. I don't really know. I mean, it's based off the word psychopath, so I'm probably just going to say psychopathy. No, I don't. I don't like the sound of it. It just doesn't sound right. It sounds terrible off my tongue. Psychopathy. It's psychopathy now. A strange disease mutates and begins to affect the human consciousness, damaging the human race's, no apostrophe, most distinguishing feature, empathy. Oh yeah, you get rid of empathy and we're all horrible monsters. Will the disease prevail and turn everyone into a psychopath? Or will the human spirit prevail like it always does? Well, that depends on you, I guess. Good luck ruining humanity. I don't need luck. Luke ICS? Lucius? What? I don't need luck. Okay? How many times at this point have I destroyed humanity? Many hundreds. Many hundreds of times have I destroyed humanity. It is a bacteria type. ATP boost, Darwinist, Augustine, human file, and symptostasis all seem fine for a generic playthrough. And Psychopathius? Psychopathius, I guess. You are a deadly virus that destroys the empathy of other human beings. Nice. Alright, getting started. You know the drill? Have fun. If you don't, it's not my problem. You're playing this custom scenario before anything in the actual game. But have fun anyways. Wow, that's a passive-aggressive statement and a half right there. Okay. Transmissions. We are going to look for air. Okay. Well, I can get that right now, actually, so let's go ahead and pick that up immediately. Water. We have friendly, which I guess is going to be like fomites. Infected pretend to be empathetic. Ooh, that's the worst thing. They are not just psychopaths. They're psychopaths who are self-aware enough to pretend to have empathy so they can manipulate you. That's really scary. Increases infectivity and lowers suspicion, I guess, by reducing the severity. And migration. Infected will travel long distances across land in an attempt to spread the virus. Why? I don't know. Psychopaths don't need a reason. They're just malevolent as heck, right? Symptoms. Apathy. Infected become less empathetic towards others, increasing suspicion. I kind of like that. Severity is just the suspicion meter as to something is wrong. Why is everyone I know turning into a horrible psychopath? Insomnia. Inability to sleep makes people irritable and less productive. Excessive bad dreams don't help. Coughing. Chance of infection spreading in high-density urban areas. Not helpful to us immediately, but it will be later. Abilities, we have our cold, heat, and drug resistance. We have our bacterial resilience, and deadly. Infected are more dangerous if provoked, and much harder to control. Vrius complexity is also increased, meaning more research for a cure is required. So it's just free lethality, and it reduces cure speed. Got it. I like that. That makes my life easy. All right, Saudi Arabia, how we doing here? So we've got air, that's going to help quite a bit. Water would be nice, but probably not actually that important right now. I'm debating whether I want friendly, because lowering suspicion right now would not help me. I will get more DNA from my bubbles if I just leave it as is. Instead, we may want to go for migration. I'm not sure that land distance is going to make a big difference for us, though, so instead, let's go for the water. It's just straight up more infectivity, even before you get the human environments and the ship transmission. Then we're going to worry about migration. Alternatively, I suppose we could go to coughing, but it looks like coughing actually doesn't give you a lot. No, I take that back. Sorry, it does give you a pretty reasonable amount for only 4 DNA. Okay, coughing is good. We should probably go ahead and pick up coughing. That will lead to coughing 2 instead of sneezing. Coughing is far more violent and spews small amounts of virus into the air, heavily increasing infectivity, but also severity, especially in the high-density areas. You know, if they're going to stack up that much urban transmission, actually firing this disease off in, let's say, Europe would not necessarily have been a bad idea. Or better yet, China. China's not wealthy, but it is urban. So that would have worked pretty well. Okay, so we have our migration 1. We could go for migration 2. Very low in infectivity, but it does allow us to have extra air and water transmission, which I guess right now is actually okay, because we're starting to hit critical mass enough that Saudi Arabia can start sending out planes. And the sooner we get planes into all these airports, the sooner we're going to be able to win this scenario, the better our score is going to be. So I'm okay with stacking that up right now, even though it doesn't have a lot of extra infectivity associated with it. Just on the off chance that we get more of that transmission. Then we could go for friendly, but I think I'm going to avoid that at the moment. Let's instead go for coughing. It is more suspicious. I am aware. We probably should now go for friendly just to reduce the severity a tiny bit, because right now it's a little bit too high. Not by much. But they're going to start detecting me and working on that cure pretty soon. We haven't quite hit the critical mass in Saudi Arabia for all the nations to immediately be like, oh, we've detected a disease. But we're almost there. Asthmatic just developed. Well, that's slightly lethal. Infected experience difficulty breathing and excessive coughing is occasionally lethal. You know, as nice as that is, we're going to leave it for a little bit. We're going to leave it for a little bit. Let's go for insomnia. Make them irritable and less productive. Fuzzy memories. Infected find it difficult to recall past memories of emotional connections, making them more difficult to cure. Good when we have a cure to worry about, but we don't right now. Paranoia. Infected become even more antisocial and begin breaking off relationships with uninfected friends and family. Very noticeable. Why did he unfriend me on Facebook? Friendly 2. Infected appear to be more empathetic and are able to spread the virus much more easily. Again, don't ask them to explain why they are so possessed as to spread the virus. It doesn't have to make sense, okay? We're gonna go for friendly 2. That'll lead to diplomacy. Infected actively try to suppress cure efforts and seek high-ranking political positions, slowing the research speed. Man, they've evolved. You know, the best way to ensure that I remain a psychopath is to become a psychopathic president of the United States of America. That's the conclusion that they've made, and the funny thing is, they might even be right. I don't know. We're going to go for some drug resistance since we are getting into Europe and the United States. We should start working towards some cold resistance as well. Bacterial resilience, still not a bad choice. But I think we'll just focus exclusively on the cold resistance since heat is really not an issue for us at this point. Do we want to worry about things like deadly? No, not at the moment. We could go for some more resilience. Not sure I need that at the moment either. Paranoia, it's extremely severe. They have detected me at this point, so I suppose that's probably okay. But I think I want to save up for diplomacy. Let's get people into a political positions of power. All right, there we go. And that leads to manipulation. The infected are brilliant speakers, able to mesmerize as audiences into forgetting they're being brainwashed. Greatly slows the research speed for 39 DNA points. That is not cheap, is it? Nope, not at all. Okay, we actually do need more resilience. We're not spreading fast enough in cold places, so I'm going to invest heavily in that. Because at this point, with a tiny bit of lethality, I'm a little concerned that we're going to struggle getting into Greenland. I would love to pick up Paranoia, but that much extra severity might be a problem. Still, we're going to pick it up. Violence. Infected become violent toward non-infected, sometimes killing them. Extremely noticeable, duh. Yeah, that makes sense. Hidden arms. Infected take action against the uninfected in secret, and sometimes leave infected to be infected themselves. What? That feels a little difficult to read. Okay. Sure. Well, I mean, it's pretty effective for a tiny bit of lethality. Fuzzy memories, you know, difficult to cure is nice, but we're going to go for the hidden arms. Then we have knife in the dark. Infected avoid being captured at all costs and will even kill themselves to avoid being studied, greatly hindering the cure effort. Yeah, at this point, I'm really not worried about the cure. I am almost exclusively worried about my ability to get into places like Greenland. Greenland, the Caribbean, and a couple of islands down around Indonesia, the Philippines, and so on. New Guinea is now done, so okay, we got into Iceland. That's good. Holding off on the rest for the second. Let's go for manipulation. It's going to greatly slow down the research speed and give me a lot more infectivity. Fuzzy memories mutates. You know, of all the things that could have mutated, that was the best one because it's the least likely to cause problems for me. We did not get into the Caribbean. Okay. We need more drug resistance. Come on, come on. Okay, got into the Caribbean. Russia, you got 1 million people infected. Norway's getting infected. We're just waiting on Greenland. Greenland, Greenland, Greenland. Don't shut down them ports. So far, it looks like nobody is shutting down ports. Some airports are closing down. I'm seeing boats going around, but it's not what I'm looking for. Whoop, violence, hang on. No. Curtail the violence. No. Stop it. Stop being violent. Almost the entire world was infected before Germany even started working on the cure. That's a little bit bizarre, actually. Is Paranoia really that effective in this case? Come on, send a boat, send a boat, send a boat, boat, send a boat, send a boat, send a boat, boat, send a boat, send a boat, send a boat, boat, send a boat, send a boat, boat. Friggin' heck, send a... Thank you. Got it. Okay, the entire world is basically infected. Now we're in Greenland. Now we're gonna do... let's say, deadly to slow down the cure progress by a lot. Deadlier, all infected are incredibly dangerous and aggressive towards the non-infected. Misdirection tactics are forgotten and they become mindless killing machines. That sounds about perfect for me, but instead we're going to go for the violence, then we're going to go to cannibalism? Yeah, sure, why not? Extreme compulsion to bite and eat the non-infected, significantly increasing infectivity as well as lethality. Not by a lot. I guess they were going to kill them regardless of whether they were going to eat them. Knife in the dark, I mean, slowing down the cure efforts is nice and all. I think we'll save up for the deadlier just so we can get a bit more lethality going. I do need to be cautious because we don't have necrosis. So too much lethality is actually a problem. But so far we seem to be doing okay because I have a really good amount of infectivity and plenty of resistance to the cold. In fact, actually, I think we're fine. Let's go for deadlier. We've hit that critical mass in Greenland in like no time flat. No healthy people left in the world. All of the world are psychopaths. Every single one of them. Now it's just a matter of them turning upon each other and killing each other. That's all that we're looking for. Let's go for the knife in the dark. Actually, we already got it apparently for free. All right, mutation's great. Genetic reshuffle level 1. Let's just buy ourselves some score. They're basically making no progress on the cure at all at this point, and we're just buying ourselves lots and lots of free score. Actually, well, that's weird. I just did a genetic reshuffle, and it didn't affect it at all. That's very bizarre. Why? We can go for another one. No, just reset it down to 8. Is 8 like the threshold for some reason? What happened? That seems slightly bizarre slash bugged. I don't actually know for sure if it is bugged, but it feels bugged, so that's all the reason I need. So we've got all the transmissions, we got all the symptoms. Now the only thing we can do is actually just get things like genetic hardening to buy myself a tiny bit more score, and we wait for people to die. That's all the lethality we got, though. Actually, all these stats are relatively low, considering. Usually you have the ability to get up to maximum infectivity, severity, or lethality at some point. At least in a vanilla scenario, but in this case, nah. And you know what? It's fine. The only downside of that is we just aren't going to get more score because we take too long. It's taking us about, you know, a year and a half or so. So we're going to get, like, what, 400 days? 450 days for this scenario? I predict we're going to get 2 stars. I'm a little concerned about getting 1. How you get 3 on this one, I don't know. But it is a custom scenario. It doesn't have to be perfectly balanced. I just wish we had a little bit more lethality. Just a wee little bit more lethality. Come on, psychopaths. Soon there's only going to be a handful of you left on the entire planet, and you're going to have to, like beta fish in a pond. Like, just sense each other and just hone after each other. Oh, man, that'd be a fun movie, actually. It's like Highlander, sort of. But Psychopathander. Psychopathander? Yes. I'm going to call it Psychopathander from here on out. Come on, just die already! Demonetize! I shouldn't have said that. It does happen still, by the way, every once in a while. Anyway, all right, we got it. 2 stars. Hey, 604 days. Even worse than I thought by a long shot. Because it took us about almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. 43,122 points, 2 stars, 9% cure progress overall. Yeah, okay, well, the scenario ended up being a little bit slow, but it ended up having a pretty fun concept you went with. I like the cut of your jib here. It was a little bit easier than I expected it to be because there's a lot of ways of hiding the cure, and they didn't even detect us until almost the entire world was already infected, and that's bizarre. Or rather, they detected us, but Germany didn't start investing any efforts until then. So I'd say there's a little bit of an imbalance there, where you're able to make a lot more progress and spread way better than you probably should. Psychopaths simply aren't that good at hiding from each other. However, I suppose at some point, if most of the world are psychopaths, they just won't care. I don't know, it's kind of funny. Either way, it's a good scenario. I kind of like it. I'm going to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and if so, I ask that you consider hitting that like button because it really does help. Leave a comment, of course, subscribe, hit that notify bell if you want to see my future content, and I, as always, will see you guys next time.